Alright guys, so it's probably about 100 degrees in my garage today, so I've got a little fan going, keep me a little cooler. Alright, so here we go. Right off the bat, let's, where we finished off, let's take some of this shoulder area, dig it down a little deeper. We're getting ready to thin these sides out. So just go in there on the outside of the beard and the outside of the face, underneath the hat. Work your way across on the back of the head, back of the neck. Match them up. Now let's take some of these sides off. All the way down to his feet. Leave the shoulders a little bit thicker on top. What I mean by that, I'm not going all the way up. I'm kind of looking at leaving a bulging shoulder there, just for now. All the way down through his feet. Okay, let's take a little more out here. I want some distance between the hat and his shoulders, just a little bit. Something like that. Do that on the other side. Take a little bit more out in the back. So we left our story off with our hill folks from Ulster in Ireland, beginning to come to the New World. Well, I just want to pronounce this area right here on both sides. I want a pretty good hole in there between the hat, the face, and the shoulder. Hat, face, shoulder. Gotta even them up on both sides. Folks from Ulster coming over to the New World, and one thing I didn't mention on the first video was King William III had become king in 1689, I believe it was. He ruled for 12 or 13 years, 1689 to about 1702, I think. But like I said before, he was kind of a protector of these folks that wanted religious freedoms. I'm just thinning these shoulders off a little now. He wanted them to have that. Now let's take this nose. See how I've drawn this nose in here? So the folks that, and it wasn't all Protestants, it was other folks as well, called them hill folks, primarily from Scotland, but they all came to Ulster. But those folks became also known as Billy's boys, or Billy boys. And why you might ask, would they be Billy boys? Because Billy is a short name for William. So now you're beginning to see how the word Billy came into play. Now, Billy was also known as a name that meant friend or buddy. Modern day, my buddy. Just taking all the flat spots off here. So when you say Billy or folk, hill folk or hillbilly, was also known as friend. Folk meant friend or companion, depending on how you look at it. All right, let's take this nose. Let's take a B cut out there if we can. Don't have to come straight in, but you still want to stay on that line. So those folks that came from Ulster, not only were known as the Scotch-Irish, but they were also known as Billy boys. I'll take you a little cut out of there. And a lot of these people that came from that area, the Scotch-Irish and those British folks, settled in the Appalachian area. Because there were kinds of folks that were secluded, like to be secluded from society. So they brought their families over to get a fresh start. And back in those days, they were that name, because they were King William followers, they were Protestants, a lot of them, they were became known as hillbillies. Now, along the same line, that's one rendition of how the name hillbilly came into be. But it's the best one that I've seen. Especially to the word Billy. Billy is the name or the word that I didn't understand how it came into play. Where did the word Billy come from? Give him a little Scotch-Brite, get all those scruffies out of there. And Billy came from the word, or came from King William III from England. So we've got a lot of sharp edges on this face too. So let's just go down and trim these off. Hillbilly or hill folk kind of ended up meaning about the same thing. Take some more of this belly out here, deepen that chin. But King William was not very well liked because he wanted people to have their religious freedoms. Most of those English folks at that time wanted or thought, you know, the Catholic religion was the only religion to follow. And he was not very well liked because of that. Take these little edges off too so he's not so square. Alrighty. Let's go a little deeper on these feet. So you might think to yourself, How many of us are descendants from those folks that came over in the late 1600s, early 1700s? If you're from the United States, how many of us are actually descendants from those people that came over and considered themselves Billy's boys? I'm sure a lot of us would be. All right, let's do something else here. All right, folks. So, you see where we are with his back here. Back kind of sticks out a little bit. This is a little guy that I've already been working on. He's not even finished yet, but we want to try to get his back coming in like that, and see how the bottom of his pants there are kind of swooped, kind of like we did with the hat. So that's what we're going to do with the bottom part. But first we're going to see how much we've got to take off with his belly and his back. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on now. Let's go ahead and take quite a bit off of his back over here. I'm starting to get there. And then with the bottom of his shoes there, it's going to come in right here, right in this area. So we'll start from the bottom and start swooping up. When we start doing this, well, we've still got plenty of thickness in that back, so we don't take too much out. And you can see the hat, it's sticking out a little bit far in the back, so we've still got a lot of hat to work with there, so we can trim that off. But we want the body to be more, we won't start with the proportion of the body before we worry about that. And now I'm starting to come down in the middle. almost like a really wide V-cut. That's the backs of his legs back there. So let's make a, and you can go from the bottom and make follow your bottom across and show you where your backs of your feet and legs are, right in the middle. And we'll split the backs of those legs in the back and the feet. And we are going to go up a little higher, but we're just going to do the feet for now. Round off those points. When you get to this point, you can look at it where your center is and work your way out on either side to make everything uniform back through here. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like I've always said, it's those imperfections that what makes a carving look good, in my opinion. The symmetry, at least, from side to side. Doesn't have to be perfect. And if you want to, you can go that route. It's okay. It's fine. That's just my opinion only. Alrighty. I'm taking a little more off. We're still a little heavy on the shoulders, and I meant to keep it that way for a while. Alright, let's work on this belly a little bit. Take some more out of here. All the way up to that neck. We're going to deepen that in a little bit. Much better. All right. So let's go back to his face for a minute here. You see how this is the shape face I want. I want like a, what do you call that shape? Almost like a teardrop. maybe. Thinner at the top and it gets wider at the bottom. That shaped face. So in order to get there, we're gonna have to take out underneath the corner of his hat here. We're gonna take these sections out and this section out. So let's go in here and put a V-cut in. In the corner of his face. See the shape starting to form there. Just go a little V-cut out beside that nose. The same thing on the other side. Something I've talked about in the past is being able to take bigger chunks at a time, but I'm still at a point in my carving career, which is only about a year old, where I don't like to take, or I'm afraid to take, larger chunks out, larger cuts, for fear that I'll take too much and I won't be able to correct it. So I'm still at a point where I take smaller cuts. All we're looking for now is just the shape of the face. That's all we're looking for. But I'm still at a point where I don't like to take too much at a time because of take a little at a time. You can correct it a whole lot easier. If you've taken too much, then you're at a point of no return. All right, let's flatten these feet out a little bit here. So, with his feet here, I'm going to straighten this out just a little bit. Something we're looking for is the pants that have they're doubled over on top of the feet, like this little guy. This is the little Irish guy that I carved several months ago, and if I'm doing really good with my editing, I'll put a link to this carving in the top right hand corner right now. Won't promise it, but I'll try. So anyway, there's what we're looking for with the pants. So in order to get that, we're gonna angle these feet back to where we are here. Go from corner to corner there. And then we're going to cut in straight down like a stop cut here on top of the feet, about halfway back from the front of the foot to the back of the foot, and we're going to start cutting into that from the bottom of the foot. Same thing on both sides. And we're also going to make this little 45-degree angle down at the bottom of his, top of his feet. And we're going to cut outside in towards the feet. Outside in. And then we're going to take the sides of these feet off and shorten them up quite a bit. And always come back to the front, see how big your feet are. And you might have to go a little deeper with that. With that 45-degree cut. So in the first video, I've already got some comments and some notes sent to me, some emails about hillbillies and if you are a hillbilly and why I'm considered a hillbilly. I don't know if I mentioned it in the first one, but drop it in the comments. What makes you a hillbilly? I'm going to tell you later what I think, why I think the reasons are that I am. If you'd like, I'd like to see them. Okay, so we put that little crease of the pants. We're gonna come on down and cut from the inside out, the shoe side out. And same thing over here. Cut off those sharp corners. Trying to get rid of some of those flat spots. Alright, so I'm going to take some more of the back off. And remember, that hat doesn't mean anything right now. It's big, but we may end up cutting more off the bottom of it. Round those corners off at the shoulder. Kind of even it up from side to side. Alright, let me clean this mess up and we shall come back.